Welcome back to your nerdy show. I'm your host, Spoiler Master. Stranger Things has evolved from an 80s nostalgia trip into one of the most densely layered mysteries in modern genre storytelling, and by the time Season 5 Volume 1 dropped, the Upside Down's history felt more personal than ever. Every thread leads to one name, Henry Creel, better known as Vecna, and every clue circles back to the same unlikely kid who once vanished without a trace, Will Byers. What started as a missing child case has spiraled into a cosmic destiny, pulling Will into a war he never asked for. Suddenly, his disappearance no longer feels random. The patterns, the dates, the visions, they point towards something intentional, something that was always waiting for him. So today, we're diving into one burning question fans can't stop debating. Is Vecna secretly connected to Will in a way that's far darker than anyone imagined? And why was Will chosen as his very first victim back in Season 1? Is Vecna the father of Will Byers? The idea that Vecna could be Will's biological father sounds insane at first, but the more Stranger Things connects its clues backwards, the harder it becomes to ignore how deeply Will fits into Henry Creel's twisted equation. Will didn't just survive the Upside Down, he was absorbed into it as if it recognized him, accepted him, and marked him. His artistic instincts, emotional sensitivity, and psychic echoes aren't symptoms of trauma, they resemble inherited traits. Yet the show doesn't outright confirm that Vecna is his father, and it's unlikely that Stranger Things will ever steer into a literal paternity twist. Still, the idea persists, because Will isn't just another kid caught in the supernatural crossfire. There's something older, something tethered to him that began decades before his birth. If Vecna isn't his biological father, could there be another invisible thread that explains this cosmic obsession? The most plausible explanation is not lineage, but connection, one forged from the very structure of the Upside Down. Will's powers don't feel borrowed like Eleven's. They feel awakened, his eyes turning white, his emotional resonance with the hive mind, and his ability to sense danger before it arrives scream Vecna more than 11. Vecna doesn't fling cars or bend metal. He manipulates thoughts, memories, and inner worlds. Will's sensitivity to the Upside Down mirrors Henry Creel's psychic abilities more closely than El's telekinesis ever did. Whatever links them, it's baked into Will at a foundational level that the show still refuses to fully unpack. The first myth cracks. Hawkins isn't a battleground, it's a crime scene. Stranger Things deliberately places its horrors around Hawkins as if the town itself were cursed, but that curse isn't random. The first major hint comes from the fact that Henry Creel appears in the same high school Joyce and Hopper attended. During Max's Mindscape sequence in Season 5, fans caught Henry standing right there, not as a stranger, but as part of a shared history buried beneath decades of silence. This detail reframes everything. Hawkins wasn't chosen, Hawkins was implicated. Why is that important? Because if Henry once lived among the future parents of the very children Vecna later targeted, and his campaign isn't a hunt, it's retribution. Stranger Things loves symmetry, and the pattern becomes painfully obvious. The adults played roles in Henry's undoing, and their children are paying the price. Terry Ives, the mother of the greatest twist never confirmed. One wild but shockingly logical theory claims Terry Ives may have had 2 children, not just 11, but another baby who slipped through the cracks. A child without powers at birth would have looked unremarkable to Dr. Brenner, making him a useless experiment. That baby could have been Will. This theory becomes terrifying when paired with the question the show has never answered: who is Eleven's father? If Henry Creel was experimented on by Brenner as a teenager and then later became involved, unwillingly or otherwise, in creating the perfect psychic child, 11 becomes the daughter of Vecna. Add Will into that family tree, and suddenly Will and El become siblings, 2 sides of a psychic coin. One inherited telekinetic power, the other inherited emotional and dimensional perception. Vecna wouldn't just be Will's enemy, he'd be his architect. This would explain why Vecna never fully kills Will or Joyce, and why his hostility towards Hawkins has always carried the bitterness of a personal betrayal. Vecna doesn't destroy them outright, because the story isn't about murder, it's about reclaiming something he lost. Will's powers aren't trauma, they're DNA signatures. Will's abilities have always been brushed aside as trauma responses or side effects, but that excuse collapses under scrutiny. The visions, the tingling sense of danger, and the white-eyed trance moments align with Henry Creel's behavior, not Eleven's. Will doesn't just sense the upside down, he feels it, emotionally and spatially, like someone attuned to its frequency. Vecna doesn't kill him because Will functions as an antenna, one that Vecna can use, influence, or eventually activate. Will isn't cursed, he's coded. If Will was born from experimental psychic lineage, the Upside Down could be responding to him like an unfinished command. Vecna wasn't hunting him in Season 1, he was retrieving him. Lonnie Byers, the man with the wrong son. The strangest emotional detail in the entire Byers family arc is Lonnie's behavior. He doesn't just dislike Will, he disconnects from him entirely. Lonnie isn't cruel, he's distant, as if he's avoiding something he doesn't want to confront. One theory proposes he discovered he wasn't Will's real father, explaining his absence, his disregard, and the hollow way he talks about his son, almost like he knows Will doesn't belong to him. This isn't evidence, but it's suspicious enough that fans haven't let it go. The missing kill list. Why Vecna can't touch Joyce and Will. Vecna obliterates teens, invades minds, and weaponizes trauma without hesitation. Yet Joyce and Will remain strangely untouched. He hunts the Wheeler kids, stalks Max, destroys families, but never directly harms the Byers. Coincidence? Not anymore. Either Vecna needs Will alive for his endgame, or some emotional tether constrains him. If Will is part of his origin story, whether genetically or psychically, Vecna may not be killing him because he can't. You don't destroy something designed to complete your plan. November 6th, the date that broke Hawkins. The most chilling detail arrives when fans notice that Will's disappearance shares the date with Henry's trauma. November 6, 1959 was the night Joyce, Hopper, the Wheelers, and other key parents performed the Oklahoma play, a moment deeply embedded in Henry's memory. Then, precisely 24 years later, Will vanishes on the same date. That isn't random, that's ritualistic. This symmetry suggests the entire town was selected not because it was weak, but because it was guilty. Their parents failed Creel, participated in covering up his truth, or ignored what was happening. Vecna isn't punishing Hawkins, he's correcting a wrong history erased. The Broadway prequel, The First Shadow, adds gasoline to this theory by revealing that the Oklahoma play was a cover for Joyce and Hopper to manipulate Henry into testifying against his father. To Henry, this wasn't justice, it was betrayal. His rage didn't begin in the lab, it began in the auditorium. This transforms Vecna's choices. Every victim is connected to a parent who once intersected with Henry's timeline. Vecna isn't random, Vecna remembers. So why did Vecna kidnap Will Byers? The final answer. Vecna didn't kidnap Will because he was weak or available. He kidnapped him because Will is the key, either the psychic heir who completes what Henry started, or the variable who can destroy it. The Upside Down imprinted on Will because he resonates like a missing piece of something Vecna lost long ago. Will is the emotional fault line of Stranger Things, the human doorway through which Vecna entered Hawkins, first physically, now metaphysically. Vecna didn't choose Will, he reclaimed him. Will wasn't a mistake, he was the beginning. Every moment since that night, the visions, the doppelganger shadow, and the emotional agony has been preparation. Will wasn't saved from the Upside Down, he was marked by it. Vecna didn't fail, he planted a seed. Season 5 isn't about killing Vecna, it's about understanding what Will is and what he's meant to become. If Will unlocks his full connection, he could end Vecna forever, or replace him. And that is the real horror of Stranger Things. The story was never about who Vecna is. It's about who Will might become. And now the clock is ticking, not just for Hawkins, but for Will's soul.
Now What the heck, I'll laugh anyway.